So I'm going to tell you about Sarah. She came into my store about 3 years ago and she was exhausted. I mean, you could just see it in her face. She'd been dealing with lower back pain for months and she'd done all her research online. She knew exactly what she wanted. She walked right up to me and said, "I need your firmest mattress. My back is killing me, and I know a firm mattress is what I need." And here's the thing. I've had this exact conversation probably 1,000 times in my 15 years selling mattresses. And almost every single time, the person standing in front of me is about to make a huge mistake. Now, before I go any further, I need to be honest with you. For the first few years of my career, I didn't always stop people from making this mistake. Because a sale is a sale, right? And if someone's convinced they need a super firm mattress, it's easy to just let them buy it. But I can't tell you how many times someone came back 3 weeks later, miserable, asking about our return policy. And that feeling, it sucks. It really does. So today, I'm going to share with you the number one mistake I've watched thousands of people make when they're buying a mattress for back pain. And more importantly, I'm going to tell you what actually works based on what I've seen with real people, real bodies, and real results over 15 years. Let's get into it. Okay, so here's the mistake. When people have back pain, they automatically assume they need the firmest mattress possible. Like rock solid, no give whatsoever. And I totally get why people think this. I mean, it makes logical sense, right? If your back hurts, you need support. And firm equals support. That's what we've all been told for decades. But here's what I've learned from watching thousands of people actually sleep on different mattresses. That's not how it works. Let me tell you what happened with Sarah. So she was convinced she needed firm. And honestly, I could have just sold her the firm mattress right there. But instead, I asked her to do something. I said, "Just humor me for a second. Lie down on this one." And I had her try a medium firm mattress. Not soft, but not the concrete slab she was asking for. She laid down, and I'm not exaggerating. Within 30 seconds, her whole face changed. She looked up at me and said, "Wait, this actually feels really good, but I thought firm was better for back pain." And that's when I explained something to her that I'm going to explain to you right now. So where does this idea even come from? Why does everyone think firm is better? Well, it actually goes back to this old study from the 90s. And the study basically said that people with back pain did better on firmer mattresses than really soft ones. And that's true. If you go from sleeping on a marshmallow to sleeping on something with actual support, yeah, you're probably going to feel better. But here's what happened. The mattress industry took that study and ran with it, and it turned into this blanket statement. Firm is best for back pain. But what they left out is the nuance. Because the study didn't say you need a rock-hard mattress. It said you need support, and those are two totally different things. I've seen this play out in real time so many times. Someone comes in, they're in pain, they buy the firmest thing we have because that's what they think they're supposed to do. And then a few weeks later, they're back. And they're telling me their shoulders hurt, their hips hurt, and their back still hurts. And you know what's happening? They're not getting any pressure relief. Their body is just lying on top of this hard surface all night, and it's creating new problems while not fixing the old one. All right, so if firm isn't the answer, what is? Here's what I tell everyone. Your spine has a natural curve to it, right? And when you're sleeping, the goal is to keep that natural curve supported. Not flatten it out, not force it into some weird position. Just support it the way it naturally is. And to do that, you need two things. You need support and you need pressure relief. Support is what keeps your spine aligned. That's the coils or the base layer of foam that prevents you from sinking into a hammock shape. Pressure relief is what lets your shoulders and your hips sink in just enough so that your spine stays straight instead of bending. If you only have support and no pressure relief, which is what happens with a super firm mattress, your hips and shoulders are going to be pushed up and your spine's going to arch. And that's where the pain comes from. I've had customers literally come back and show me pictures of their shoulder bruises from sleeping on a mattress that was too firm. I'm talking actual bruises. Let me tell you about another customer. His name was Tom, and he came in about 7 years ago. He was a bigger guy, probably around 260 pounds, and he had chronic lower back pain. He'd been sleeping on the same firm mattress for 8 years because someone told him that's what he needed. And he came into the store fully expecting to buy another firm one. But I convinced him to try something different. I had him lie down on a medium firm hybrid. It had great support from the coils, but it also had a comfort layer on top that let his shoulders and hips sink in a little bit. He was skeptical. He kept saying, "But I'm a big guy, I need firm." So I asked him to do me a favor. I said, "Just lie there for 5 minutes. Don't think about what you think you need. Just pay attention to how your body actually feels." And he did, and after about 3 minutes, he said something I'll never forget. He said, "I don't feel any pressure, like anywhere. I don't even feel the mattress." And that's when it clicked for him. He'd been fighting his mattress for 8 years and his body was exhausted. He bought the medium firm that day, and about a month later he sent me an email. He said his back pain had decreased by probably 70%. He said he didn't realize how much pain he'd just been accepting as normal. And that was a turning point for me, because I realized that if I just listen to what people think they need, I'm not actually helping them. I have to help them figure out what their body is telling them. Okay, so how do you actually figure out what firmness you need? Because it's not one size fits all, and it's definitely not everyone with back pain needs firm. Here's what I do with every single customer who comes in with back pain. First, I ask them about their sleeping position. Are you a side sleeper, back sleeper, stomach sleeper? Because here's the thing. Side sleepers almost never do well on firm mattresses. Your shoulders and hips need to sink in when you're on your side, or your spine's going to be bent all night. Back sleepers can usually handle a little more firmness, but even then, most people do better with medium firm. Stomach sleepers are really the only ones who might need something on the firmer side, because you don't want your hips sinking down and creating that arch in your lower back. Second, I have them actually lie down on a few different options. And I don't just have them lie there for 10 seconds. I tell them to stay there for at least 3 to 5 minutes. Because when you first lie down on a firmer mattress, it might feel supportive. But after a few minutes, you start to notice the pressure points. You feel it in your shoulder, you feel it in your hip. And that's your body telling you it's not right. Third, I tell them to pay attention to where they feel pressure. If you're lying on your back and you can slide your hand under your lower back easily, the mattress is probably too firm. There should be a little bit of contact there, supporting your lumbar curve. And if you're lying on your side and your shoulder feels like it's being pushed up toward your ear, that's too firm. Let me break down the firmness scale for you really quick, because I think this is where a lot of the confusion happens. Mattresses are usually rated on a scale from 1 to 10. 1 is like sleeping on a cloud, 10 is basically the floor. Most people with back pain think they need an 8 or a 9, but in my experience, the sweet spot for most people is somewhere between a 5 and a 7. That's medium to medium firm. Now here's the tricky part. Every brand rates their firmness a little differently. So one company's medium firm might be another company's firm. It's super frustrating, and honestly, it's one of the reasons people get so confused. The best thing you can do is actually try it. And if you're buying online, make sure there's a good return policy, because you're not going to know how it really feels until you've slept on it for at least a week or two. So body type does matter, but probably not in the way you think. A lot of people assume that if you're heavier, you need a firmer mattress. And if you're lighter, you need a softer one. And there's some truth to that, but it's not the whole story. If you're a heavier person, you do need a mattress with strong support, especially in the base layer. Because if that support isn't there, you're going to sink too far, and that'll cause back pain. But that doesn't mean you need a firm comfort layer. You can have a supportive base with a softer top layer that still gives you pressure relief. I've had plenty of customers over 250 pounds who've done great on a medium firm mattress, as long as it was built with quality materials and good support. And if you're a lighter person, you might actually find that a firm mattress feels way too hard, because you're not heavy enough to compress those comfort layers. So you're just lying on top of it and it feels like a rock. Now, I don't want to make it sound like firm mattresses are always wrong. There are definitely times when a firmer mattress is the right choice. If you're a dedicated stomach sleeper, you probably do need something firmer to keep your hips from sinking and creating that lower back arch. If you have a specific condition like severe spinal stenosis, or something where your doctor has specifically told you to sleep on a firm surface, then yeah, listen to your doctor. But for most people dealing with general back pain, medium firm is going to be your best friend. Okay, so what if you're listening to this and you're thinking, oh no, I just bought a mattress that's too firm, what do I do? First, check your return policy. Most mattress companies have at least a 30-day return window, and a lot of online companies have 100 days or more. If you're still in that window, seriously consider exchanging it. If you're past the return window, you've got a couple options. One is to add a mattress topper. You can get a 2 or 3-inch memory foam or latex topper that'll add some pressure relief without totally killing the support underneath. It's not a perfect fix, but it can help a lot. The other thing you can do is give your body a little time to adjust. Sometimes it takes a week or two for your body to get used to a new mattress. But if you've been sleeping on it for a month and you're still waking up in pain, it's probably not the right fit. So here's what I really want you to take away from this. Your back pain isn't asking for the firmest mattress you can find. It's asking for the right support and the right pressure relief for your body. And the only way to figure that out is to actually listen to your body instead of listening to what you think you're supposed to need. I've been doing this for 15 years, and I can't tell you how many people I've seen transform their sleep and their pain levels just by being willing to try something different than what they thought they needed. Sarah, the woman I told you about at the beginning, she sent me a message about 6 months after she bought that medium firm mattress. She said it was the first time in years she'd woken up without back pain. And she said she almost didn't buy it because it didn't feel firm enough when she first laid down. But she trusted the process, and it worked. So if you're dealing with back pain and you're about to drop $1,000 or more on a mattress, please don't just default to firm because that's what you've heard. Actually try a few different firmness levels. Lie down for at least 5 minutes. Pay attention to where you feel pressure, and trust what your body's telling you, not what the internet said you're supposed to need. And if you found this helpful, I'd really appreciate it if you'd subscribe, because I'm making these videos to share the real, unfiltered stuff I've learned from 15 years in this industry. Not the marketing hype, just the honest truth about what actually works. If you've got back pain and you're confused about what mattress to get, drop a comment and let me know what you're dealing with. I read every single one, and I'll do my best to point you in the right direction. All right, I'll see you in the next video.